Welcome to part 13 of XWO Gaming's guide to Dark Souls Level 1. In this episode, we're going to be escaping the Duke's Archives prison and making our way towards the Crystal Caves to defeat SEATH the Scaleless. So the first thing you want to do from your cell is kill the Snake Man and rob the Archive Tower cell key from his body, open the door and walk out to enjoy the cutscene. The next thing we're going to do is go up the stairs first. But make sure we kill the two snake men that are trying to follow us up. Both of them try to ignore you to make their way up the stairs and towards the ladder. The door up here is locked, so make your way back down and start heading down the stairs. On your way down, you'll see that there's some enemies coming up towards us. So just deal with them one at a time. A two-handed jumping R2 is enough to take them down. And if you're lucky, they'll also drop some humanity. As we make our way down, you can use the Archive Tower cell key to open the cells as we pass them. So this one has a crystal soldier. And in his cell there is nothing to collect. Into the next cell, it's locked. Open up the next one. And defeat the crystal soldiers that are inside. Make your way to the back, and you can see there's a hole to drop down, but first we're going to deal with the enemies outside on the stairs. And this is just so we don't get caught in a pincer attack on our way out of the cell on the lower level. So in this cell, take care of the crystal soldier. And pick up the Archive Prison extra key. That cell we just left was actually what was at the bottom of that hole. So we don't need to go back up to explore that. And once you reach the bottom, kill the rest of these enemies. Be careful of their spit attack. But as you can see, they're all quite easy to deal with. Then, once you're at the bottom, go into this room here and kill the last 2 enemies. These ones are a little bit tougher. They can withstand a few more hits, but they're still easy to deal with. One drops the miracle Bountiful Sunlight, and the other drops Soothing Sunlight. Then get your bearings, as we're looking for a ladder to climb up and turn the alarm off. When you find the ladder, climb up. And there'll be a few snake men up here, which we have to defeat. One of which is a caster. The caster can get annoying, so get rid of her first. And that's those dealt with. Open up the box at the back for the Archive Tower Giant Door Key. And then we can finally turn this annoying noise off. With that switched off, the enemies that we killed on the stairs all the way down will no longer follow us up, which comes in handy if we die and need to respawn. Now that we've got that key, we've got to make our way all the way back up to the top and open the locked door at the top of the long ladder. Use the key to open the big door. And carry on your way. To the right is another crystal soldier. Be careful as you approach the next room because there is also an archer. So roll underneath his arrows as you make your way onwards. When you enter this room on the left is another crystal soldier waiting to ambush you. Once they're dealt with, exit out of the back and go up the stairs. Up the stairs to the right. And as you can see, there's a channeler here, so deal with him. And if he teleports away, you'll see him reappear just at the back of the room over here. Be careful where you stop to heal, because there's another channeler on the level above, and there's also an archer which is really putting the hurt on us right now. I needed to do a quick weapon swap there, which is why I ran backwards, but once you've dealt with the channeler here, continue on this way. Get rid of this archer. And this hollow swordsman that might have followed you through. Now that we've cleared everything, we're going to go up these stairs. And first go left to deal with another crystal swordsman. Be careful as there's another archer behind us. And another one on the balcony on the opposite side. Once this side is clear, head halfway down this stairway and spin the handle. This will rotate the staircase so we can get to the opposite side of the balcony. Once over here, we're just checking to see if there's any treasures hidden. But once we get to this side, we want to make our way back into the previous room, but on the upper level. Get rid of another pesky archer. And yet another one. But be careful because there's also a channeler on the opposite side who's blasting us with soul spears. As we missed the treasure, we're just going back to pick that one up. And it's another piece of twinkling titanite, which will come in handy if you didn't buy enough from the giant blacksmith before you killed him. Back on up the stairs, and we can finally move ahead. So from here, roll off this ledge and onto the next rotating staircase. Try and rush this channeler so that he stops blasting you. He's super annoying and he'll teleport to the opposite side. Before we turn the next staircase, first collect this chest. And there's nothing on this side. Turn the handle to make the staircase rotate. And we can finally get rid of the next channeler. So now we're back where we started, but that is all of the Duke's archives explored. So let's make our way onwards and towards the next bonfire. There's a crystal archer that we can't reach unless we've got ranged attacks. You can just fireball him to death. Go down the ladder. And there are 3 ways to go. First, go through the doorway to the right of the lever for another chest, which contains a blue titanite chunk. This room is quite dark, so just hug the walls just to see if there's any other items that need to be picked up. With nothing in that room, we're going to ignore the lever and go into this room here. There's another chest that has the channelers set in it. This chest is a mimic. And a third chest here, which has the Archive Tower Giant Cell key. And one last chest hidden behind the bookcase here, with the Crystal Ember. Unfortunately, we cannot use that ember because the giant blacksmith is the one who takes that from us. Pull that lever and head back to this room here. Pull the lever that we ignored. And this moves the bookcase, which leads to the next bonfire. At the bonfire, perform the usual routine, as you'll likely will need this rest and time to upgrade your weapons. There's a boss coming up, so make sure you kindle the bonfire, because if you die at this boss, there's quite a long trek back and forth. So from this bonfire, head back to this room with the lever in it, and we're going to go down the staircase that we revealed earlier. At the bottom here's a crystal soldier. And another chest, which has 20 prism stones in. These items will come in handy in the crystal caves if you don't know where you're going. We won't be using them since you're following this guide, So just pay attention to the route we're going to take. On our way towards the crystal caves, we'll be attacked by several crystal golems. Deal with those like we've been dealing with all the previous golems in the game, and just play it safe. Next, we're going to ignore most of the enemies and sprint into the crystal caves. Pay close attention to the routes we're going to take, because there's lots of invisible platforms that we're going to need to run on. Just sprint past this enemy and continue on the way. Going down these slopes, and when you reach this small cave here, it looks like you'll die, but there's actually an invisible floor, so run through. Collect the humanity and walk off the edge here. And again. Down the slope and up the small slope here. Do not aggro the moonlight butterflies that are on the walls, and instead run across this invisible platform here. If you're playing online, you'll be lucky enough to have a few messages laid down so you know which way to go. Next, run past this golden crystal golem, and on the other side, when you reach this point here, walk off the edge to another invisible platform. This one's pretty long, so hopefully there'll be some messages laid down for you, but just sprint across to the end. Once you've made it to the other side, we're almost at the boss. And this would be a good place to switch to your giant blacksmith's hammer. These guys are pretty annoying, and I highly recommend taking them out before you tackle the boss. These guys are a great farming spot for Twinkling Titanite as well. On your first trip here, there won't be a fog gate, which is why I recommend killing those guys, because if you're too slow, one may follow you into the boss arena. So the first thing you want to do before we fight SEATH the Scaleless is run to the back of the room and wait for him to get closer. And once he's close enough, destroy this crystal here, because that will stun him for a few seconds, allowing us to get a few free hits in. That's the attack we're trying to bait out, but we were unsuccessful on dodging it on that occasion. Be careful of the spikes that keep coming up through the floor, as they can curse you. And it's just another cheap death mechanic that this boss has. All in all, if you stay just off to its sides like I am, and keep hitting it with some jumping R2s, the boss should go down pretty easily. If it does go for that laser attack which I was trying to bait, just move away to the sides, but get enough distance, unlike I did. like that. This boss is fairly docile and not extremely aggressive, so just follow the tactics that I took there. Once the boss is down, it drops the usual humanity and reveals a bonfire. So head on over to the bonfire and do the usual routine. And this is where we'll wrap this episode up. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to comment or subscribe to the channel and turn those notifications on. This has been XWO Gaming's Guide to Dark Souls Level 1 Edition, and we'll see you next time for episode 14.